Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have an exclusive interview with Harris County 911 Emergency Center Supervisor Mrs. Elsi Palacios.
Hola, mucho gusto. Mi nombre es Elsi Palacios. Soy la supervisora aquí del 911.
Let's just start off with a quick question. Mrs. Palacios, with the recent uptick in violence concerns here in Harris County, what is the process for someone to call 911?
You dial 911 and it'll go to your nearest 911 center. We will answer, we will ask you what's the location of the emergency, and then we will ask you if you're needing police, fire, or ambulance. You give us the location of where you're at. It's very important to remember to give us the exact location. If you don't know the address, a physical cross street will definitely help.
Okay. What specific information would you like? What makes a call very effective? Because some people call and they're, in a high state of emotional distress, and sometimes they maybe even forget to say their name. But what are some of the tips that you can offer our readers?
Definitely know exactly where you're at. Like I said, if you don't know your physical address, give us 2 cross streets. Yes, you might be in an emergency situation that you're not used to, and might be confusion, you might be scared and nervous. It's very important to try to remain calm in any type of situation. We get callers that are yelling, and that just makes it very difficult for us to be able to understand what it is that you're saying and what is happening. So definitely very important to try to stay calm.
Okay. And such an emotional call, and sometimes it's so difficult to sometimes decipher what they're trying to say, the caller is. So what type of training, specific training, does a dispatcher go through to make them an effective dispatcher?
We do have a extensive training program. So when you do get hired on, you have a 2-week new hire orientation that you take, and we kind of go over our system that we use, our computer-aided system that we use to enter the calls for service. We go over policies and procedures. We go over, nature codes and what type of questions to ask when it's related to each specific situation, whether it be like an auto accident, a family disturbance, some type of medical emergency. We review those questions that we need to ask the caller so that we can properly process the call, disseminate it, and get help to them.
And do you, when we receive these calls, do y'all, and part of the training, do y'all do real life scenarios with the trainees?
Well, after the 2-week new hire orientation, then they come onto our dispatch floor, the call taking floor, and they are going to be assigned with a communications training officer. You do 3 weeks first on the non-emergency line, and then you do a week of standalone, and then from there you'll do another 2 weeks of 911 training, and then another week of standalone. So not so much real life scenarios before they hit the dispatch floor, but you definitely do get real life calls during training.
Okay. And that brings up a really important question. You said that they filter what are the non-emergency calls and what is an emergency call. What is an example of the most typical non-emergency calls?
Non-emergency calls would be like if you're wanting to report a loud noise. Okay. Your neighbor's playing loud music or something to that nature. It also can be a loose dog. We get a lot of those calls where people are calling about a loose dog on the street, and they're concerned that it might attack somebody, or they're just concerned for the welfare of the animal as well, especially with the heat going on right now. Burglary to a motor vehicle, something that's already occurred, there is no suspects in the vicinity, and maybe it happened overnight. Those are examples of non-emergency calls, some examples.
And do y'all refer those calls to another number, like 311 or?
No, if they call through the 911 number, we'll go ahead and take the information because we already have them on the line. But at the end, we will educate them and just tell them, hey, for future reference, this is our non-emergency number that you can call back on for cases like this one. And then we'll give them that number.
Harris County is the largest county in Texas.
Yes.
The 3rd largest in the U.S.
Yes.
So I can imagine on a typical weekend, you receive hundreds or perhaps thousands of calls.
Yes.
Can you describe a typical day, a weekend day for a dispatcher?
Ooh. So we can always say, okay, you're coming to work, you're kind of doing the same thing, but it's really never the same thing because you never know what type of calls you're going to get. But we do have 3 different shifts. You have your 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., and then 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So I'll kind of talk to my shift because I'm on the evening shift. It's busy. We get well over, let's say, I think yesterday we had over 1,200 calls just on our shift alone. Yeah, so it's, it can be a little bit stressful, but it just also depends on the day. And just because it's the weekend does not mean that it's necessarily going to be the busiest day of the week. You might be surprised. Sometimes the busiest day might be during the week. But yeah, we will definitely get different calls, all sorts of different calls, major accidents, family disturbances, medical emergencies. Medical emergencies now with the heat, a lot of people are getting, dehydrated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's very, very different each day.
Every day is a different day,
Different
unique
day,
day,
yes.
different situations.
Yes.
Well, I guess that makes the job exciting.
Yes.
Okay. The other thing is there a need, Houston is a metropolitan area just consistently growing and growing. I mean, I see growth all around Harris County.
Yes.
Do you have a need for more dispatchers?
Definitely. We definitely have a need for more call takers and dispatchers, especially bilingual. I mean, we do have bilingual call takers on staff, but of course, if we have more, that would definitely help. But like you said, Harris County continues to grow. It's getting more populated, so the call volume is increasing. And we try to, keep our staffing at the levels that we are, but yes, we definitely need more call takers.
What percentage of the calls would you say people call in that speak another language besides English?
Ooh, that would be a high percentage, maybe a good, at least Spanish speakers, I would say about 30-40%. We do get a high volume of Spanish speakers.
So there's a need for hiring more bilingual.
Definitely,
dispatch.
always a need. Like I said, we do have bilingual call takers, but on my shift alone, I would probably say I have maybe 50 to 60 on my shift alone, and I think we have maybe 5 bilingual speakers. But if we don't have a bilingual speaker available, we do have a language line that we use.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so if we have an English-speaking only call taker and no Spanish speakers available, the call taker will use the language line, which is a third party that has translators available for us.
Oh.
And it's from any language too, not just Spanish.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So it could be Vietnamese, Chinese, whatever language it is, that's the language line that we use, and they will translate for us.
Okay, wonderful. And it brings up the next question related to folks calling in. What if one person is not able to call in? They don't have, they're not able to speak on the phone. I believe there's an option to text.
Yes.
911. Could you share and explain a little bit about that?
Definitely. There is now the option to do text to 911, but of course we would like our citizens to know that would be like a last resort.
Okay.
If you're not able, for whatever reason, you're not able to actually make a voice phone call to 911, you can text to 911, and it's simple. Just you send it to 911 and you tell us what's going on. We will respond to you saying what is the location of the emergency, and then we'll wait for your response to give us the exact location, and we will stay on the line with you, or not on the line, but on the text chat with you to get more additional information. And also, if you are a Spanish speaker, you can text in Spanish as well. We have the capability on our app that it would actually translate the Spanish text to English for our call takers. So they will be able to understand what is being texted to us.
And this texting feature, do you need a different 911 app, or do you just dial 911 and text?
You text it, yes. You send it to 911, it'll come through.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. I like that option. In the recent light of what happened in Uvalde and stuff,
Yes.
we have to make sure we provide all the options.
Correct, yes.
Folks may not be able to call, but they can definitely, text an emergency.
Yes.
Well, do you have any final words for our Que Onda Spanish-speaking audience?
Sí, claro que sí. Para nuestros ciudadanos de Harris County que solamente hablan español, es bien importante que se eduquen acerca del 911. También solo porque ustedes hablan en español no quiere decir que no pueden marcar al 911. Siempre va a haber alguna manera de poder traducir sus llamadas y obtener la información y mandarles ayudas a donde ustedes necesitan. Y lo más importante es mantener calmado, saber exactamente en dónde es que ustedes están y entender que nosotros preguntándoles a ustedes preguntas no está deteniendo la respuesta de la ayuda. Ellos ya van en camino y nosotros le estamos mandando información a los oficiales, a los bomberos o a los paramédicos que van a ayudarles a ustedes.
Excellent, muchas gracias. Thank you very much for your time and
De
service.
nada.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias a ustedes.